Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Purgatorians Cast Interviews. In this series, you will be able to find out more information about the cast, what other projects they are currently working on, as well as their views about their character and the show. Thank you, Liara, for joining us. What were your thoughts as you first read through the Purgatorians synopsis and cast listings?
When I first read through the Purgatorian synopsis and cast listing, I thought it was a very ambitious project. It's very involved, there are many characters, and I thought that it could be very confusing for a writer to keep up with all of the characters and their interactions, so I admire the writers and project managers who handle projects like this and are able to handle a cast of characters this large and all the details of the story and keep everything consistent. I was very excited to get to audition because I thought that there were some very challenging characters that I could try out for. One was Alice Potts, and she's seen as the crazy old lady in town, but in reality she has some insights that are very important to the story and very important to the lives of the characters in the story. So I was challenged by the actual type of voice that she has, so I wanted to try out for that, and though she's kind of a side character, she's also very important to the movement of the story.
Why did you want to take part in such a large project?
I wanted to take part in such a large project because I like being part of a team that's working toward a goal. I like to be part of the creative process, working with others, and everybody's on the same page trying to accomplish something, and when you work together there's camaraderie, and I really appreciate that. And when we create something together as a team, it's very fulfilling.
Tell us what inspired you to become a voice artist.
I've been doing voices and accents for my entire life, since I was a little kid, and it took a long time before I realized that not everyone does that sort of thing. Then I realized there's an entire industry that revolves around people who do that sort of thing. I briefly considered it a few years back, but then I thought that you had to live in LA or New York to be successful. But with the advancement in technology, we're able to create home studios where we can work without having to move to another state. So I am still able to get voiceover gigs from home. I'm currently immersing myself in everything voiceover and training with Edge Studio right now, working toward creating a demo reel. And I really enjoy doing projects on Casting Call Club and Behind the Voice Actors and pretty much anywhere I can find them. It helps me to develop my craft and to get practice and hopefully help with my professionalism and experience working with a mic. And I've really found that voice acting is my passion, and I am planning to make this my second career, head first in, and hopefully I'll be able to make something of myself. So I'm really enjoying the opportunity to be part of a project like this.
Is this your first show, or do you have experience with others?
I've only been pursuing projects since March of this year, but I've had the opportunity to work on several projects that I really enjoyed and that I'm very proud of. I currently am working with Shoddycast on their machinima for game lore. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim Storyteller series is a one that just came out, and it's a bi-weekly series on YouTube, and I am one of the major characters in that, so I was very proud of that cast and excited to be a part of that. Also had a character just introduced in their Fallout lore storyteller series on YouTube. That's a weekly series, so that's also very exciting to me. I love to do machinima. I've done some game mods and audio drama. I did an audio drama called Sniff P.I. It was a detective noir where I played several female roles and young boy roles as well in that series, which is you can find some of it on YouTube, and it's also on iTunes. I've also done some animation and comic dubs as well. I like these various types of opportunities that allow me to really get into the acting and create characters, and that's the best part of it.
What separates this show from the others you have done?
I think what separates this show from a lot of the others that I have done is that it's a very involved. It's a big project. But also, it's very organized because Paul's on top of things and he keeps us informed. He's constantly reaching out to us with updates, and that's really great. It involves everybody, so we get to feel like we're part of the team. And a lot of projects that I've worked on, we get cast for something, and then maybe you hear from the project manager like months out, and you forget what voice you used when you auditioned, and you forget who your character is. I think that that's maybe just because a lot of projects are personal projects with people work on in between work, and I can understand that. But with such a big project, like the Purgatorians, it's good to know that he's very organized and on top of things, so we can be assured that the work that we're putting into it is actually going to come to fruition, that we're not just recording a bunch of stuff that's just going to sit somewhere. So that's pretty nice. It's pretty nice to know that we're really moving forward on having this great, final product that we can be proud of.
How much input do you have in the show? Are you informed of all the decisions being made regarding running the show?
I would say that Paul gives us the opportunity to have a lot of input in the direction of this show. He has a story and he has the script that he's working on, and that part of it, he created. That's his baby. But he puts things out there for us and asks for our input on decisions and which direction we should go with this or that. And he really doesn't have to do that with this type of thing, him being the project manager and the creator. He doesn't have to ask for our opinion, and I think it's really nice. It makes us feel like we are all working together. We're working toward this thing, as opposed to, where we just do our part, send it in, and we're done, and when we don't really hear much back about it. So I think it's great, and we do get to input, and we get to know each other a little better, and see how it's all unfolding, and I think he does a great job of that.
Can you tell us about the character you are voicing?
I'm voicing two characters in the Purgatorians. One that I mentioned earlier is Alice Potts, and she's known as kind of the town crazy lady, but she has some insight, and she's very important to the flow of the story, and she's able to reveal some important things throughout the story. So even though she's a side character, she's very important. The second character that I'm voicing is Mason Parker. He's a 6-year-old boy who's a main character in the story, and he has a very, very involved, very dramatic role in this story. And I don't want to reveal too much, no spoilers, so 6-year-old boy and a crazy old lady, that's me.
What will be the hardest part of bringing your character to life?
I think the hardest part of bringing my characters to life is the actual voice, and the drama, because I'm stretching myself. I challenged myself with these two characters. One, Alice Potts, is an old lady who's on the brink of crazy, and I have to bring that urgency to her voice and give her that, age-appropriate sound, and that's gonna be challenging. And also for Mason, because he's a 6-year-old boy, I have experience doing boy voices, because guys can't do boy voices once they've reached puberty, because before puberty, boys and girls sound very similar, so I'm able to successfully pull that one off. But I typically do older boy voices, so 6 is young for me, and so that was a challenge. My first attempt sounded like 10, and that's too old. And I tried again and was able to get something that sounded pretty good for that age. And so the challenge for me with Mason is going to be keeping that age, keeping the voice sounding like a 6-year-old boy, and expressing all the drama of his situation. So I've got to bring the emotion while keeping the appropriate voice. So that's going to be tough, challenging, and hopefully going to be able to pull that off and sound genuine. So that's the challenge for me.
If you could have chosen any character, Male or female, who would you have chosen and why?
I think if I could have done one of the other characters, it would be Betsy Turner. She is a southern middle-aged woman with an attitude, and I'm originally from the South, and I can do a pretty convincing southern accent. The only problem is, as you can tell, my voice sounds very young, and I'm not able to pull off middle age. I can get the younger voices, and I can get the really old voices, but I can't find that middle ground there. So I wouldn't be too convincing as a middle-aged woman, but I did want to do that one because I like the southern lady attitude.
What can you tell us of the story of the show? What kind of themes does it contain?
The Purgatorians is definitely a drama, a dark gothic drama type story with some mystery and some supernatural, and there's definitely some interesting character dynamics and complex relationships.
If your character died, how would you like this to happen?
That's kind of a difficult question. I don't want my characters to die. I guess if my characters had to die, I would prefer that they die the way that I'd like to die if I'm going to die, and that would be in my sleep. I don't think that there's any good way to go unless you're sleeping.
In your opinion, why should people listen to this show? What would keep them coming back for the next episode?
I think what would keep people coming back is the struggle between various forces and the mystery of it. I think that we want to find out what's going to happen next, and it's suspenseful. I also think that the dynamics between the characters and the complex situations make this an interesting listen as well.
What are your future plans once your role in the show ends?
My future plans are to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to finish my training, create a professional demo reel, and be a part of more projects that are challenging, and develop my skills further, and become a better voice actor and make a career of this. It's my passion, and I'm going to keep working toward that end.
As your character, do you have any final words for the viewers?
Evil only makes more evil. I trust no one, and I don't trust you. Please listen to our show or Mommy might get mad at me, and when she gets mad, sometimes bad things happen.
Thank you, Liara, for joining us. And I wish you and your character every success in both the show and your future roles.
If you're interested in more information about me, hearing more samples of my work, seeing some videos, you can check out my website, lyramorris-clark.wix.com/lyravoice. Lyra is spelled Leara. You can find me on Twitter @LyraVoice, Facebook/LyraVoice. I'm also on YouTube, Lyra Morris Clark, SoundCloud, Behind the Voice Actors, Casting Call Club, Tumblr, and LibriVox. You can find me, Lyra Morris-Clark. And drop me a comment or likes or shares or constructive criticism. I appreciate it.
Or for more information, please check the links below. If you're looking forward to the start of the show and this has piqued your interest, please do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Next week, Logan Hall, who voices Toby Parker, will be joining us to give their opinions about their character, the show, and current projects. I hope you will join us. Until then, goodbye.